Once upon a time, there was a grad school biology student named Alex who was fascinated with the idea of indigenous tribes and their unique use of natural resources for medicinal purposes. He took the opportunity to travel to the heart of a remote jungle where he had heard stories of a drug being used by a tribe of natives. With the help of a guide, Alex finally reached the tribe and was greeted with skepticism by the tribal chief. After much convincing and showing his respect for their culture, the chief allowed him to try the drug. The experience was beyond anything Alex could have imagined. He was transported to a world of vivid and intense visions that often came true. For example, in one vision, Alex saw a tree that would fall during a rainstorm and block the tribe's path. A few days later, the rainstorm hit, and sure enough, the tree fell exactly where he had seen in his vision. In another vision, Alex saw a sudden change in the weather with clouds gathering and darkening of the sky. This was a warning to the tribe to prepare for a storm, and they were able to take shelter and protect their homes before the storm hit. One fateful night, under the influence of the drug, Alex had a vision of war and destruction on a massive scale. He saw the death and suffering of innocent people and the destruction of the beautiful jungle that surrounded them. He knew that he had to do something to prevent this from happening. As the vision faded, Alex was left with a sense of urgency and a deep sense of purpose. He knew that he had to leave the safety of the tribe and venture back into the outside world to prevent this future from becoming a reality. He gathered his things and said goodbye to the tribe, promising to return once he had fulfilled his mission. As Alex returned to civilization, he found that the threat to the jungle was more pressing than ever. Companies were eager to exploit the natural resources, and the government was turning a blind eye to the destruction of the environment. Alex knew that he had to act fast if he wanted to prevent the future he had seen in the vision from becoming a reality. He joined a group of environmental protesters who were fighting for the preservation of the jungle. They marched and rallied, trying to raise awareness about the importance of preserving this delicate ecosystem. Despite their efforts, the jungle was still being attacked, and the companies continued to cut down trees and pollute the rivers. One day, Alex and the protesters decided to stage a peaceful sit-in at the entrance of one of the companies. They hoped to block the trucks and cut off the supply chain to the companies that were destroying the jungle. The police were called and the protesters were met with violence. Alex was arrested along with several others, but he refused to back down. Despite the setback, Alex and the protesters continued to fight for the jungle. They wrote letters, organized protests, and tried to reach out to the media. Slowly, their efforts began to pay off, and the world started to take notice of their cause. However, just when they thought they were making progress, disaster struck. The jungle was suddenly and indiscriminately attacked by unknown forces, with trees being cut down and wildlife being killed. The protesters were stunned and devastated by the destruction. Alex knew that he had to act. Alex returned to the jungle and reconnected with the tribe. He requested to use the magical drug to foresee the future in an effort to protect the village, and the chief agreed. Alex smoked the herb and began seeing wild images of crowds of people joining together. It was a solution to war. He saw himself leading the group of people, both native and outsider, to fight against the forces that were destroying the jungle. He saw them coming together united in their cause, and he felt a surge of hope. With the newfound threat on the horizon, Alex knew that he needed to act quickly. He reached out to surrounding jungle tribes and asked them to join forces with the coalition. He told them of the magic drug and how it had allowed him to see the future. The tribes were hesitant at first, but Alex and the coalition members were persistent. They sent messengers to the surrounding tribes carrying the message of the magic drug and the need for unity. They also sent gifts such as rare plants and animals to demonstrate their sincerity and show their respect for the other tribes. One example of their outreach was when they met with the leaders of the neighboring tribes in a grand council. Alex spoke to them of the visions and the importance of the magic drug. The council was an important moment in the history of the jungle, as it marked the first time that the tribes had come together for a common cause. With other tribes joining forces, the coalition was stronger than ever. They formed a plan to defend the jungle using traps and guerrilla warfare tactics. The magic drug was a powerful tool, allowing them to anticipate the invaders' movements and plan their defenses accordingly. They fought hard against the invaders for half a year, and in the end they were successful in protecting the jungle and the magic drug, and they were able to prevent the destruction that Alex had foreseen. But even as they celebrated their victory, Alex knew that there was more to come. The future was always in flux, and he knew that he must be vigilant in order to protect the jungle and his people.